Hi everyone, this is Elena, and today I'm showing you simple mass producing using the MISTI tool. A couple weeks ago, it was the Teachers Appreciation Day at my kids' daycare. So they had like 5 teachers and plus the principal and other teachers that they liked, so I had to make a few cards and as well gifts. I didn't do a video with for the gifts, but I do have for the cards. And I'm using the Seeds of Knowledge stamp set from Paper Tree Ink along with Thank You Teacher. I think it's called the small stamp set. It just says Thank You Teacher. I think the sentiments are special teacher. So I'm using the negative from the die cuts. I die cut several of the images. I did all of them, so I have some extras for use for later on when I need another project. And I'm using Lake Shores, Cup of Joe, and Little Piggy ink pads. So let's start stamping using the MISTI. And I'm putting a scrap of white paper on the bottom because it's more the cardstock is sturdier than the paper pad that comes with the MISTI. And I didn't want to stamp as well on my the grid mouse pad, so I just did a scrap of cardstock. So I'm positioning this watering can where I want to be, so I don't really need to move around much the negative, so I know where it's gonna approximately be. And then I'll just stamp using the little piggy, just to have that guide onto my scrap cardstock. So first I'm using the Versamark ink on my stamp, and then I'll ink it up with my little piggy ink pads. This will ensure that I have better coverage when I stamp it down. So the first time, because it's a new set, it doesn't really come out clearly, but I won't overstamp it because this is just scrap piece of paper. Next, I'm positioning the negative, centering it over the stamp image. So I have equal amounts of that border around the watering can, and then I'll just slip in one of the watering can die cuts, and then I'll stamp on top of it. So let me make some space here. I have stuff that are sliding around and they're keep going onto the door of the MISTI. So I'm inking up that watering can, and I'll stamp onto my die cut image. So I really like how it stamps perfectly. So I'll speed up a little bit here to do all of the stamping. So I'm doing, I think, 5 or 6 of those. And it goes very quick with when using the MISTI. And I kept the cards very simple, as you will see, because I had so many to mass produce and I didn't have enough time because I spent so much time making the little gift houses that I will show in the same post on my blog. I'll show you the little houses. So those were very time consuming. I thought they'll be easier, but they were not. So now I'm doing the little water that's coming out of the watering can. So again, I'm doing pretty much the same thing. I'm stamping on that scrap piece of white cardstock, and then positioning the negative over it, and then stamping onto my die cut. So I have pretty much all of them done now. I think I have 2 more left. And I'm using the Simon Says Stamp Lake Shores ink pad for the water. So now we have all of them. And then I'll be moving on to stamping the sentiment on my card bases, and I have white cardstock for my card bases, and I'm scoring it at 4 1/4. All of them, and then I'll be using a corner chomper to chomp the left corner of the card bases. So I'm kind of making sure they lay flat and they're nicely folded. And then with the corn chomper, I'm just using that round ½ inch, I think, to round them. I position where I would like that watery can to be, and then I'm kind of positioning the sentiments where I want to be, and then I'll just put it in my MISTI and use that transparency grid paper so I can line up the sentiments perfectly. So I have those ready, and I pick it up with the lid of the MISTI. I remove that transparency, and then I'm ready to stamp directly onto my card bases. So there is one, and then with my finger I accidentally kind of picked some of the ink and transfer it into the white card base, so I'm making another one. And now that we already have that position, the sentiments, I just can go ahead and stamp. So, and you can see how quickly this is like a little bit sped up, but you can see when you have everything positioned perfectly, you just go ahead, ink it up, and stamp onto your card bases. So next, I'll just adhere. Actually, I'm stamping on the envelopes. So I'm using a few of the stamps from the same stamp set, Seeds of Knowledge. And now I'm stamping on the back of the envelope on that flap. And I can't remember what this stamp said. I think Seeds of Knowledge something. I'll post on my blog with the list of supplies. There'll be the stamp set, and you'll be able to see what and close up of what that sentiment says. So now I'll be stamping onto the front, and I'll be using 2 stamps for the front. We have that one in the corner in the place of a stamp, and then I have a sentiment saying for special teacher. And then at the end, I just added the name of the teacher onto the envelope. So I'm using again the Cup of Joe ink pad to stamp those, and you see how fast that goes, and I do 2 stamps at a time, which kind of saves, cuts the time in half, not in double, sorry. So we have that, and we're almost done. I have 2 more envelopes, and then the last one. And next will be just to assemble the cards and then stamp my name stamp on the back of each card. So I'll be using some dimensionals. So I'm stamping the back of the cards, saying handmade by me. And then I'll be using some dimensionals to adhere that watering can. And then I'll adhere the water stream using Tombow multipurpose glue. So I have that positioned and that card is done. And I'll be doing with the same thing with all of them. So 2 cards are done. So when we have mass producing, it kind of goes a little bit quicker. So with this, we're almost done with all of our cards, and you see that it didn't take so much time. Yes, the cards are simple, but still there was like die cutting and stamping on the die cuts and all that good stuff. So here are my cards and envelopes. Thanks for watching, and see you soon. Bye!